Hey guys, what's up? It's me, your kitty. Alright, and we're getting to a series which is kind of near and dear to my heart. The company isn't around anymore, but the games live on in the hearts of the millennial kids. The millennial adults now. But the millennials. Um, Many of you may remember, well, at least again, those of you that grew up in the early 2000s, as well as in the 90s and even in the 80s, so even like the Gen Xers, or Gen Yers, those ones. It's really hard to keep these generations straight. I don't really know anymore. I just have a system for if they're above me or below me in age. Are they legal to drink? Are they not legal to drink? That is my forte. That is my system. But many of you who watch my channel may actually remember the series. It's called the Reader Rabbit series. No, it's not Jumpstart. Jumpstart was its own thing. I know it's very confusing. Jumpstart is owned by Jumpstart. Reader Rabbit is actually owned by the Learning Company. Or I guess rather also the Davidson Company as well, from what it got transitioned from. So, two separate franchises, but the Reader Rabbit series was actually one of the edutainment games that I grew up with as a kid. I remember that I think I had quite a few of the Reader Rabbit games growing up. The one that stuck in my mind the longest and the one that I remember enjoying the most was the first grade game. Sad thing is that I have the first grade game, only the first disc though. I didn't realize that apparently when they re-released the first grade Reader Rabbit game, I believe in the later 90s, I think. I don't have it right up in front of me to know what the dates are, but the later one, it was apparently in a 2-disc set. So apparently I only have the first disc. There's apparently a second disc that comes with it that's needed for the full installation of the game. The older copy from the early 90s only needed one disc. And the sad thing is that they're pretty much the exact same game, just one had a second disc and the other one didn't. I think the reason for it was because as I'm looking at my screen here actually, so I just installed the first Reader Rabbit game onto my computer. Not the first grade one, this is Reader Rabbit 1, the very first one to have come out in the series. I wasn't really sure what game to do next in my little series and stuff like that. I mean, obviously I've got Spyro and I've got the Rugrats game going on currently, but I wanted to pick a game that was going to be kind of quick, and I've been holding off on doing the Reader Rabbit series for a long time. As well as the fact of, I was going by what is the oldest game that I have so far in my list. I might have some older games on Steam, but currently, going by the initial release of the game, this is the oldest one, having been released in 1983. Now, the original, I believe, was a DOS game and not a Windows game. So it looked probably very different from how this one is going to look, because I have the 1996 edition, and that's the one that we're going to be playing. I still have yet to figure out how DOS works on my computer and how to actually use the programs on it, or the software. So, no idea if I'm actually going to be playing that at all on the channel. But hopefully, eventually I will. But apparently on my specific copy of Reader Rabbit 1, the 1996 edition, obviously I didn't have the actual case. It literally was a loose leaf disc that I just put into a slim case. It was the only one in there. But apparently it came with a copy of the 5th grade adventures of Clue Finder. I do actually have the 5th grade adventure one. I actually have it in its original box. So I didn't get it from the Reader Rabbit game. But I imagine that Reader Rabbit would have double packaged the game. As they did with a lot of their games into the 90s when they were re-releasing games, they were also re-releasing it with either preview software, or even demos of their other franchises and their other games. as well as the fact of obviously they would double disc in a sense. Actually, same thing with the Clue Finder games, they started bundling them in a sense, so where you were getting 2 or 3 games in one package instead of buying them separately. So, a good deal back in the 90s. Of course, though, we are not playing Clue Finder, and it tells me I need the disc in order to play it, and I don't feel like pulling it out. So, another video. So, we're going to be playing the 1996 edition of the Rita Rabbit game, the first one. It's technically called, like, Rita Rabbit 1 Deluxe, I think, what my copy is called. The fun thing about the Learning Common games, especially the Rita Rabbit series, is that they go through so many different name iterations, yet they are the exact same game, just with updated graphics. I believe, as I've read before, the updated graphics is literally the only thing that's changed. The games in it, the game mechanics, the storylines, even the voice files, like the audio in it, is the same. They've repurposed almost everything else, just the graphics get updated. But for this particular game, the first Rita Rabbit, so its original name was Rita Rabbit and the Fabulous Word Factory. The other names that it went by as it got re-released was just Rita Rabbit 1, Talking Rita Rabbit 1 Deluxe, which is my copy, and Rita Rabbit Reading 1. And respectively, these were all released. First one was released in obviously 1983, the next one was 1986, 1987, 1990, 1996, and then 1997. So I will say this is kind of one of the things I think kept the Learning Common relevant, or the Learning Company relevant, was the fact that they would constantly re-release their games for newer generations of computers, as well as new, like, you know, I guess newer generations of children. Not really that big of a generation gap, but, you know, as the kids got older, they would update it to meet more like their style in a sense. You can still kind of see us today, because I know that back in the early to mid to, well, more like the mid to late 2000s, they actually released newer games, I believe, not only on PC, but also onto the Wii, back when the Wii had just come out. They actually released games on the Wii. I was kind of surprised to figure this out, but it was kind of nice at least to see that, you know, the childhood edutainment game that I grew up with still lived on. I know now that the Learning Company is no longer around, or it might be the Knowledge Company, because I believe from one of my previous comments somebody had left, and I will go ahead and showcase it here because I might get the information wrong. Somebody had said something that basically the Davidson Company, the Learning Company, the Knowledge Company, had been merged into what is now considered Blizzard. Obviously, I don't have any evidence necessarily myself to confirm or deny this fact, but I'm just gonna take it at face value, and honestly, that's kind of a cool thing. Obviously, I feel bad the way that Blizzard has been going, because they haven't really been doing great, especially in the public eye. But the thing is that Blizzard has a bigger legacy than I previously thought, which is kind of cool in a sense. Obviously not cool how they're treating their workers, but cool for their legacy part. Just kind of sucks from how they got from point A to point B. But regardless, let us see basically the early days of the original Blizzard, in a sense.
Here comes Rita Rabbit. All right, Rita Rabbit. Bringing us some fun adventures.
Reading words and choosing letters.
Reader and his friends will help us learn together. Off to Wordville, soon we will be reading better. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, so I got greeted with this song when I opened this up to install it. And because I got to listen to it, I'm letting you all enjoy it too. Yeah. The fun part is that it doesn't stop. It just continues on loop as long as you're on this page. So I don't really want to listen to this anymore, so I'm just going to hit play. Yep, we're done with that. Also, I have not actually tested the gameplay of this, so... Oh good, we get greeted with it again.
Bringing us some fun adventures.
Reading words and choosing letters.
Reader and his friends will help us learn together. Off to Wordville, soon we will be reading better. Yeah, let's go.
Hi, my name's Reader Rabbit, and this is my fabulous word factory. In here, we make words that name all sorts of things. While you are playing, if you ever need a hint, just choose me, and I'll be happy to help. Hey, Matt, come on down. Introduce yourself.
Whee! Hi, my name is Matt. That's short for Matilda. In my pocket is my friend Pop. We're the team that can get you around this place. When we get inside the factory, choose me to see.
So come on, I'll show you how to get inside. To get into the factory, just spell your name, then click on play to start.
Cool. So yeah, obviously, I have never played the first Reader Rabbit game. I was not even conceived when it came out originally. It was at least 10 years before I was even a thought. But yeah, I'm actually happy to play it now, and I am glad that we are kind of getting to,
A.
oh god.
I. R.
Do we get space?
Space.
Cool.
K.
We acknowledge that people have
I.
spaces in their names.
T. Y.
I need more games to acknowledge that there are spaces in people's names. That it's not all just conjoined together. But yeah, I'm glad that I finally get to be able to play this game for the first time, in a sense. I know that's not going to necessarily be very long, but still, I'm here for the experience.
Now you're inside the factory. To play, choose an activity.
Cool. Well, before I pick an activity, they said that I could click on these people, so can I?
Pick an activity.
Okay, he just gives me instructions. Matt?
You found Pop. Click on its buttons or click on its eyes to return to your activity.
Okay. So we've got help, education level, sign in, speech, sound, and exit. I'm actually interested to see what this little settings menu is.
Help is on the way. Pick an activity.
Nah, I'm good. I didn't need help with that. What is education?
Educational benefits.
Oh, good. Reader Rabbit 1 introduces early phonics concepts for developing readers. Phonics teaches the association of letters or groups of letters with their sounds. Literally, I'm just getting little snippets of Hooked on Phonics commercials in my head. In the Reader Rabbit 1 activities, children work with the letters, sounds, and pictures of 200 consonant vowel consonant words to reinforce vocabulary, visual discrimination, memory, and concentration skills. Did that actually help anybody growing up? I want to know, like, so for me, I was all in the Reader Rabbit games because they were just fun. I didn't really care to learn anything. Did anybody actually learn anything from the Reader Rabbit series? I mean, I guess you wouldn't know anyways because it was just fun. Like, I think that's the whole point, but still. What is the... Did you know? Some children learn more effectively with the help of visual cues, while others benefit from auditory cues. In Reader Rabbit 1, children both see and hear words and letters. In some cases, they see the pictures that correspond with the words and hear the names of the pictures. I will say that I know for me that when I was in high school, they started kind of pushing this a little bit more. Like, they started kind of acknowledging this, that students learned differently. And they really want to try and help students, understand the learning style and everything. And I will say that as an adult, it helps to know how you learn best and also to not be ashamed of how you learn. Um, I will say that at times, especially for women in my field, so I've noticed that a lot of women in my field, we do better with kind of visual cues in a sense, as well as kinetic cues, meaning we learn by doing. And that doesn't necessarily mean just letting us go free. It also means having somebody sit down and walk us through step by step and have us do it. You know, they tell us where we're going and we drive kind of idea. That is how a lot of women learn best. But a lot of men learn best with, um, you know, I'm forgetting how it's said, but basically they learn best by reading as well as by, listening to something in a sense. And what kind of sucks is when you have a gender dominated field, one of the main reasons why you lose a lot of people, like, why it's not really inclusive, such as the technology field, why it's so male dominated, is because the men have no idea how to teach the women. And then it becomes the idea that they assume that they're stupid because they don't know. And it's like, they're very bright, actually. Both genders are very, very bright, but they learn differently. And it's taken us so long to learn that that's been one of the issues. Is that there are a lot of really bright people out there, but they learn very differently. And if you want them to learn the skills that they need to, you need to teach them in a way, like kind of meet them halfway. You need to be able to teach them in the way that they learn best. But as well as the fact of us as ourselves need to advocate for ourselves to be able to learn the way that we learn best. So, being able to tell somebody and been like, I learn best by doing it this way, as well as, setting yourself up for success and being able to, you know, teach yourself in the way that you learn best as well. Taking the material and trying to figure out a way that you can teach yourself with what you have, basically. Going on little tangents here and there, but, if you're at my channel, this is what you're here for. How many did you know facts do we have, though? Vowels are harder for emerging readers to identify than consonants. Kind of, yeah. Well, you've got your flip-floppy vowel there, Y, that doesn't know what it wants to be. If there was ever a letter to describe the bisexuals, it would be Y. It doesn't know which way it wants to go. It's just like, I'm cool with being both. And it becomes very confusing. We still love that letter, but it is very frustrating at times. But yeah, basically it's a fact of, it's like, everything that's not A, E, U, I, and O, and then we'll just throw Y in there for good measure. Anything that's not that, you're like, it's a consonant. No other questions about it. It's a consonant. But apparently in Reader Rabbit 1, they have developed a leveling system for each game that allows children to practice working with the initial consonants in each word, then the ending consonant, and finally the middle vowel. Okay. If children can learn to isolate and recognize letter sounds, they can become better spellers. In Reader Rabbit 1, we have created learning experiences where children concentrate on the individual sounds that form words. The game's digitized speech enables children to hear these isolated letter sounds and helps them identify the sounds used in building words. How many facts are there? Okay, there's only like 2 more. Speed and accuracy in identifying letters are important ingredients for increasing reading fluency. The Reader Rabbit 1, in the sorter game, we allow children to challenge themselves to increase the speed with which they recognize letters. They can control the amount of time they see a word by setting the speed gauge themselves. Cool. In building self-esteem, it is important for a child to become an independent learner. All components of each game are arranged so that children can play the game independently and at their own pace. I will say this is also another thing, too, that I think the education system in America really lacks is the fact of a lot of children fall behind in a sense because the system in which that they are placed in is meant for basically the average. There's not a lot of children that necessarily fall out of that system in a sense or that are outliers to that system, but for the ones that are, instead of helping them and giving them that extra help in a sense, they just kind of get left behind. Or, in a way, their detriment, they get pushed forward when they're not supposed to. It's kind of the thing of like, I really love edutainment games, and I really wish more of these games would come back in a sense, because I think there are a lot of kids that could still use these games where, they get to learn what they need to at their own pace, but also in the sense of, sometimes it's frustrating and embarrassing when you have to try to prove yourself in front of somebody else. If you're playing a game, you can get frustrated all you want. It doesn't matter. There's nobody else around to hear you get frustrated. I know for me that when I'm learning something, especially something new, there are times, yes, when I want somebody to sit with me and show me step by step. But there are times, like, if I'm just not getting it, I just want to be left alone. I'm like, let me just learn it at my own speed. I'll get it eventually. Because that is another big component about learning and education, is that sometimes it just takes time. Some people don't realize it, but, at the time that you learn something, you may not have all the tools and the processes and the experiences that you need in order to process that one bit of information. The best way that I can think of it, and the best way that I kind of joke and tell people, is the fact of when I'm not getting something, I joke with them and say, okay, there's like 10 different things in the queue right now going into my brain to be processed. That's at the back of the list now. Been like, don't worry, I'll learn it eventually. It will just take it a couple days to get there. Been like, and then I'll have that epiphany, that aha moment, and been like, I get it now. And the thing is that that's one thing that I think a lot of people need to learn as well, like in the, like, not necessarily teachers, because I think teachers get it. I think there's a lot of teachers that get it. It's just unfortunately with the system that they're working within, it doesn't fit. It doesn't work necessarily for certain children, in which, they can't give them time. And I think I think that really sucks, because it's like, I wish people were able to learn at their own pace, because actually, I think if you were to remove the stress of having to get something done at this time, at this pace, you would see things get done a lot faster, because there's not that stress of, I gotta get it done now. So yeah. How many pages? I know for a reading game, there's a lot of reading, which makes sense, but even still, I'm like, I don't want to do this much reading. So about learning, the Learning Company's line of language arts products presents age-appropriate play experiences where children build reading, writing, listening, and speaking skills. The product line combines two approaches to teach reading: phonics and whole language. The product line is made up of two strands, one skill-based and the other literature-based. Our skill-based games provide explicit training in phonics. Phonics teaches the association of letters and groups of letters with the sounds that they make. It exposes youngsters to common spelling patterns and word syllables, and it builds word recognition skills to help children become fluent readers. Thank God, because apparently I need a touch-up, because I can't read to save my life, typically when there's a camera in my face. I go back to being a first grader who's just learning how to read again. Our literature-based games follow a whole language model of reading instructions. Whole language uses meaningful context to expose children to the world of words. Phonics concepts are taught as a natural part of interesting literature. Stories are filled with rhyme, rhythm, and repetition, helping young readers predict the meaning of difficult words. Perfect. The reading series, Reader Rabbit's reading series, is an integrated line of standalone language arts games in the Learning Company's system of learning products. It provides pathways to exciting new interactive experiences in reading, writing, listening, and speaking, and fosters a lifelong love of reading. Reader Rabbit Interactive Reading Journey takes developing readers on a journey through the reading kingdom. Wait, what is this? This is italicized like it's a proper name of something, like it's an actual product, and I'm like, I don't remember this game. I don't have that on my list, I'm pretty sure. Are they doing that thing again where they, like, say one name for something and it's another, and they're just getting themselves confused as well as me confused, but they're all talking about the exact same product? Probably. The game's 20-letter lands provide a picture book glimpse of rich... I've actually never seen this word. Alliterative language? I'm not gonna lie, my brain saw it as alternative, but then I realized that's not alternative, the word, and I'm like, I'm not really sure what that is. I've never seen that word before in my life, so I have no idea how to pronounce that. The skill house activities and storybooks are carefully constructed to equip early readers with a basic toolkit of easy-to-read words that they can practice reading confidently and fluently. Oh, this is going through the different games itself. So Reader Rabbit accompanies children on an excursion into the world of reading through 3 skill builder games: Reader Rabbit 1, Reader Rabbit 2, and Reader Rabbit 3. Each game is a unique learning experience that expands the reading concepts introduced in Reader Rabbit's interactive reading journey, and Reader Rabbit 1 and Reader Rabbit 2 work together to give children practice using phonics skills. So I'm actually kind of wondering... Okay, yeah, actually... Yeah, so there is actually a game called Reader Rabbit's Interactive Reading Journey, as well as Reader Rabbit's Interactive Reading Journey 2. These are also known as Reader Rabbit's Reading Adventure Ages 4 to 6 and Leap Ahead Phonics. So, again, they are all over the place with their names, but that is a separate game, and according to my list, I do actually have both those games. And I think I actually do have Reader Rabbit 2 and 3 as well. But they're probably the re-releases, not the originals, of course. I'll have to recheck my list because they're not in here because I have it sorted by release date, so they're not all together necessarily. So yeah. Let's see, they also provide a foundation for the grammar, syntax, and comprehension skills introduced in Reader Rabbit 3. The treasure products are part of the literature-based strand of our language arts line. The Treasure Mountain and Treasure Cove readers apply newly acquired reading and thinking skills in delightful play experiences. I actually have heard about these two. These ones also got re-released under a different name as well, I believe. So those will probably also have different names. I think I either have them, like I think I have one of them. I don't remember which one. But I have one of them, but I think it's not technically treasure whatever. It's technically called something else. So yeah. So that's the education stuff. Levels.
Choose a challenge level.
6.
Match pictures to middle letters.
Yes.
Sort by any letter. Fill in any letter. Match words with 2 same letters.
So I'm upping, obviously, all the levels of the games because I feel like that's appropriate for me, being a 30-year-old woman playing a game meant for 4 and 6-year-olds.
Speech is off.
Oh.
Speech is on.
Yeah, no, we want speech. We want sound. Oh, wait.
Do
No.
you want to leave, Reader Rabbit?
No, I don't want to leave. Okay, let's actually play the game now.
Okay, let's match pictures, words, and letter sounds. Wow, this is level 6. Match each picture with its middle letter sound. Man. Ah. Wow, this is level 6.
That's it. Okay. So I'm gonna guess that this is like a rebranding of the game Concentration. Which is cute. I'm fine with that.
Ah.
Ah.
Rib. Sad. Mom. Ah.
Mom.
Mom.
Unless you're like my family, in which, because my mom watches so much British television, and I've kind of just built a, I've just kind of built a habit of it now. When I'm addressing my mother, it's funny because it depends on the tone of it too. If I'm just needing to address her, or if it's like a happy tone, it's mum. M-U-M. Mum. If it's annoyance or anger, it's mother. I will walk into a room or something like that and like, or like I'll go to like in the laundry room or something like that and she'll have put my clothes on top of the dryer or something like that instead of like just putting it in my room and I'm like, mother, why do you do this? So the name of my mother changes depending on the tone. It never goes to that word though. The bad word. I've never called well, I did, but I was in middle school. That doesn't count. Middle school doesn't count. As of my adult life and after that moment, because she did catch me, it was bad. I have never called her the bad word. And I never will call her the bad word because she doesn't deserve that. She is not that. My mother is doing what every other good mother is doing out there, her best. And that is all I can ask for.
Dad.
Daddy.
Eh.
Rib.
Rib.
I had ribs last night. They were pretty good.
Eh. Ah. Dad. Ah.
Sad.
Sad.
Me too, homeboy.
Ah. Man. Hooray!
What is she doing with her head? Okay, we've played the one game. Let's... Variety?
Animals. Travel. House things. Kitchen things. Outdoor things. People. Playthings. Containers. Variety. Animals.
Well, let's do animals, I guess.
Ah. Bug.
Not quite, so.
Ah. Eh.
Eh. That's exactly what I say to a bug.
Bat. Ah. Rat.
Oh, shoot.
Eh. Ah. Rat. Bug. Ram. Pig. Eh.
I love how the ram just looks so, like, strong and distinguished and is, like, standing tall and proud. Then there's the pig just like, hey, baby girl, what you doing?
Pig. Ah. Ram. Did it! Great job!
Oh, jeez. I don't know if I necessarily want to do all of the different varieties that are in there, but I at least want to, like, at least get through all the games, so let's go
Let's
back.
go!
Let's do
Come
sorter.
on! Let's find words with special letter sounds. This is level 4. Find the words that have a letter with the same sound and place as the letter in the white box. Put these words on the shelf. Put the other words in the trash can.
My mind kind of blanked a little. I got most of the instructions, but I feel like I'm going to still screw it up, so.
The middle sound is eh.
Oh.
Met. Wed. Lead. Mop. Pet. Get. Hey, that's great!
Do we get variety in this one too? I pick?
Slow. Medium. Fast.
Yeah, let's speed this bad boy up. What is the I pick? It's grayed out, so I can't.
The beginning sound is r. Dot. Lug. Rib. Van. Rot. Dip. Gut. Red. Rub. Raw. You did it!
I don't know why, but like, I mean, I know there's not a lot of like three-letter words that start with R, but there was at least 3 in there that like literally I sat there and I was like, these feel. My adult brain is not thinking like a kid right now. My adult brain is thinking like an adult brain that are not child-friendly topics. Also, I don't get what the speed is. So, like,
The beginning sound is w. Wig.
so if I just. Oh.
Wit. Wax.
It's literally. Okay. How quick you have to get it.
Pan. Wag. Web. Good. You found some of the words that begin with w.
Okay, so they have a specific amount, and then you have to go from there. Okay.
Let's go.
The labeler.
Yeah. Let's spell words to label crates. This is level 4. The labels on my crates are missing all their letters. Just choose an empty space under the word you want to spell. Pick the letter that goes in that place. And we have box, net, can,
I totally thought for a minute that he was gonna make me figure it out myself.
Ah.
Ah.
X. Box. Hmm. Eh. T. Net. K. Ah. Hmm. Can. Way to go! And we have pot, can, box.
Ooh, shoot. Does this one have variations as well?
Variety, animals, travel, house things.
You know, let's do house things. We haven't done house things.
Hey, here's bed, mop, rug.
So I actually want to know if I, whoops.
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay. I was waiting for it to, like, let me, like, spell it all out and then tell me I'm wrong, or, like, wait until I got them all done and be like, that's not right. Guess not. Okay.
B. Eh.
For anybody that was wondering, I was actually going to spell veg.
D. Bed. Hmm. Ah.
Oh. It just sounds like somebody saying, like, ah. Like, ah, I got it.
Mop. R. G. Rug. Way to go!
The same animation for the paint cans. Okay.
This time there's bug, fox, rat.
Thought I was set on household appliances. Or household items. Now I'm on animal? Okay, I guess it randomizes it.
Let's go!
Okay, so we've got one more game. And actually this is a game actually that I saw a lot of screenshots for, like on Moby Games, for the original one. So
Come on! Let's play with letter patterns. This is level 4. Choose the word from the loading dock that has 2 of the same letters as the word on the red framed car. Fat.
Hat.
Tat.
Good job. That word goes on the train.
Rat.
Rat.
There's another one.
Lag.
Lag.
Doesn't fit.
Obviously,
Which word on the loading dock has 2 of the same letters as the word on the red-framed car?
obviously, I had to get one wrong just to see what happened. But yeah, it's rot.
Rot.
Great job! I'm leaving with all my cars.
Hey, Ernest, is it time to load you up? Fig.
Cool. There's no variations on here. Okay. So it kind of looks like that's it. That's the entire game.
Let's go!
But yeah, kind of a short little game, short little experience. I kind of got that impression too. A lot of the DOS games from back in the early 80s kind of had a very simple kind of mechanic and gameplay and stuff like that. Granted, a lot of those games were played with not even really a mouse. Like, it was kind of like it was a luxury to play a game that like allowed you to play with the mouse. Although I'm not sure if I don't even think DOS, like the early versions of DOS, I don't think they even had mouse capability. I know some of the later ones did, because of course I do have some games on here, like obviously games like Heretic. Pretty sure that was like I think Heretic was like a 3D RPG. You know, very popular genre of the time. As well as like, you know, the horror game D was a DOS game. And there was a lot of games, like even into the 90s, that had DOS and Windows variations to kind of help bridge the gap for people. So there were DOS games that had 3D capabilities and stuff like that, or like this kind of like pixelated, more detailed kind of like visual to them. So it's like eventually there was mouse capability, I know that, but I want to say like the ones like from the early 80s. The mid 80s, sorry. Didn't have mouse capability. You played it all with the arrow keys and typing things in with the letters. So they kept a lot of that same mechanic in a sense. Obviously, where it's a newer game, you can use your mouse, and that's what I was primarily using. But a lot of these games were played in such a way that you could just use a keyboard if you wanted to. But no, not a bad game, especially for an educational one. Obviously, it's just very simple, but it does it very well. I would be kind of interested to know again, like how many people actually learned something from this game back in the day, if it helped. Because I will say we learned new methods to learn the same thing, but you know, stuff like math and English, or rather language, I'll say, it never updates in a sense on what you need to learn with it. You know, you don't update how you learn or you don't update what you need to learn about language or math in a sense. It's always the same. You just update how you learn it. So yeah, it's interesting in that sense, like learning how that stuff kind of works and how people learn best. But yeah, so not much more to say about this game. Obviously, there are plenty of Reader Rabbit games. Actually, I have a bunch of them actually up here. You can actually see a couple right here on the edge. But I do have quite a few. Obviously, there are still some that I'm waiting to get, and I'm debating about actually getting the other iterations, like the other re-releases, to see how they compare visually. But like I said, the gameplay is the exact same. But visuals kind of, you know, tell a different story. You know, depending on how little information you're getting from a visual or how, how massive the information is. Kind of goes along with that saying of a picture's worth 1,000 words. So yeah, debating if I want to do the re-releases. I think I do actually have copies that are just different years. But obviously I don't have a lot of those. But yeah, starting off with this, and obviously there will be more on the way. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.